morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. So for today's practice, make sure that you have a strap or rope or a long t-shirt you can use like a strap. And let's begin sitting. If it feels comfortable for your knees enough, grab a block below, something that you can elevate your pelvis on, and put it right in between your ankles so that you can sit on top of that block. And you can make that block or that prop as thick as you need, as high as you need, so that you are bending your knees less if needed. And now if this is just not okay for your knees in some way, then feel free to just sit upright in a way that allows you to ground as well. Now, if you are sitting in this version or something like it of Hero's Svirasana, make sure that your toes are pointed back. You're not turning so that your knees are safely aligned, and that your knees are no wider apart than your hips distance. Let's take a moment to place the hands on your rib cage and find your lowest ribs. You make your pelvis a little bit heavier, pressing down through both left and right sides. Lift up your lowest ribs, especially your back ribs, and keep lengthening your lower back that way. Keep drawing the belly in, and then continue to lift, and even let your shoulder heads lift. Lift up to your crown, and then take a breath, broaden your chest, and roll your shoulder head slightly behind your ears. Keep lifting the rib cage. Exhale through the mouth, release your shoulder blades further down your back. And then just let your hands rest. Maybe close your eyes. Your body becomes still. I'd like to open with a quote by Joseph Kaufman. Avoiding discomfort is discomfort. Running from fear is fear. We cannot escape ourselves or the parts of ourselves that we ignore. We can heal emotional wounds by pretending they don't exist. The only way to heal is to feel. The only way out is through. It's a challenging thing to confront, these discomforts and hurts, things that we may carry. But if you believe in the mind-body connection, our bodies carry a history of our lives, our emotions, our joys, but as well as our pains, our emotional trauma. And it's so interesting that our bodies do not lie. They're like this direct experience of our outside world, whereas our minds can perceive what our body is telling us from different angles, depending on our mood, depending on where we are at in our lives. How can we value the wisdom of our body? Let us know that there's something that needs to be addressed. We know we have defense mechanisms, and there are some that we tend to practice, whether escapism, like I talked about last week, that strong term spiritual bypassing, or other ways to hopefully not confront something that doesn't feel good to confront at start. Can we build this self-trust? Can we build our confidence in our own ability to be truthful, and in so doing, trust that life is here to support us? This earth is our classroom, so to say, and that we are made to evolve, to continuously expand. And when we become sort of locked in a space, a heart space that doesn't allow us to venture, take that risk, to take a look at things that might hurt, stay locked up in that place. Yoga practice reminds us that nothing is separate. As we acknowledge that we're all here in support of each other, even those that are challenging to deal with. And we can remember that the support system is within and in the body. All this information that arises, even the painful information, is there to support our growth. And it's our responsibility to cultivate awareness through self-love. So I just want to end with a little explanation. Kaufman, at the very end, realize you don't need to change yourself. You only needed to love yourself. Paradoxically, the realization that you don't need to change is the very thing that changes everything. Because now your actions are coming from a place of genuine care for yourself instead of from a place of self-hatred. So how do we cultivate that self-trust, self-love in a genuine way, starting listening to our bodies? And maybe you're closing your eyes now. What do you feel in your body in this moment? Feeling to what is, including at your heart space. Perhaps even placing your hands there if that helps to acknowledge and to just hold space for whatever your metabolism, you're metabolizing or processing or digesting. Taking deeper breaths, venturing to the top of your inhalation, to the bottom of your exhalation. Feel the expansion of your lungs, the expansion of your belly. Yet with a quality of curiosity, softness, compassion. Let's begin with a chant of Om, clearing the energy center at the throat. Take a deep breath in. And now as you close your lips, slide your hands down to your belly and focus on your belly gently moving to your breath. So as you inhale, it expands. And as you exhale, it hollows, draws in towards your spine. Now you could continue or revert back to this sustained breathing into the belly. Otherwise, we're going to cultivate warmth as well as core energy through breath of fire, Kapalabhati. You might practice, it's done with the lips closed, and it's percussive exhales. So as you breathe out through the nose, it sounds like you're blowing your nose quickly, and the belly bounces in towards the spine like this. So short, passive inhales, strong, active exhales. And if you'd like to add a Kriya or an action to that called Ego Eradicator Kriya, bring your arms up, 60-degree angles straight, and then stick your thumbs out towards the sky, curl in the rest of your fingers, and maintain an active stretch between your thumb and index while relaxing your shoulders and sitting tall. Keep your upper body relaxed, like your face and shoulders, and start to create warmth in the belly through breath of fire. So I'm going to set the timer now for 1 minute and give it a try for as long as you can. Ready? Begin. Try to create a steady rhythm. Relax the face. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath a moment and think of lifting your pelvic floor as you do that. Engage your lower belly in and up. Keep your eyes closed. And as you exhale slowly through the lips, bring your thumbs overhead to touch. Then release your palms face down out to your sides and onto your lap. And just pause to observe the effects of that pranayama. Kapalabhati breath of fire is known to stoke the digestive fire, Agni, fire of transformation, purification. Let's move into Ujjayi Pranayama, closing your lips, sustain your breath equally, deeply through your nose, while softly constricting the back of your throat to create a gentle whispering sound. Taking these slow breaths, find your strap, please, and hold it in front of you with your arms straight, shoulders relaxed, still sitting tall, and separate your hands a little wider than shoulders distance apart. Have a taut grip on the strap, arms remain straight, and start with the strap on your lap. Now as you inhale, raise your arms overhead, and as you exhale, draw your arms behind you and all the way down. If that's difficult to lower the hands all the way, separate your hands wider apart in the strap, and inhale your arms up. Exhale your arms forward and down, and keep going several more at the pace of your breath. Now when you raise your arms, notice if your shoulders shrug. If they do, you might need to separate your hands a little wider apart onto the strap while keeping a taut grip. And if you find coming fairly easy on your shoulders here as we're warming them up, you could bring your hands a little closer together to add some more warmth and challenge if you feel it's appropriate. Let's take about 5 more cycles of breath. Notice when you raise your arms, if your front ribs protrude forward a little more. Be conscious of sealing the bottom of your front ribs into your back body and melting them downward towards your pubic bone, so as not to overarch your lower back. So finishing this cycle of breath, release the strap. And let's bring the legs in front, extending left leg forward. Take the right thigh over the left thigh. Now you could keep the bottom leg straight and flex the foot here, or you could bend both knees and come into full-on cow face pose, separating your feet apart. And with your right leg on top, raise your left hand holding the strap so that you're dangling the strap behind you. Rotate your left tricep forward, bend your elbow behind your head, and land your left palm between your shoulder blades. Now press both of your shoulders down as you lift your chin well to the ground, and reach your right hand underneath. Grab the other end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can, and they might be able to clasp. Then root down the left and right sitting bones. Lift up from your lower spine to your crown, your chest wide open. Breathe out little by little, hinge forward from your hips. Feeling the contrast of your pelvis pressing towards the ground. Notice any way that your body is messaging you here. Sensations like tingling or even stronger. Next inhale, leading from your chest, slowly rise up. Release your arms and straighten your legs, and just roll out your shoulders, roll out your feet. Thigh over the left. That's the same one. Take your thigh over the right. And you can keep the bottom leg straight and flex the foot or splay your feet apart. Now raise your right hand so the strap is dangling from it. Rotate your right tricep forward and bend the elbow. Land your right palm between your shoulder blades and reach your left hand underneath the other end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together, and they might be able to, and press both of your shoulder blades down. Lift your chin slightly away, and take a deep breath, broadening your chest. Hug in the belly as you exhale to fold little by little each breath. We had a request for some neck, shoulders, hips, and lower back releasing postures today. So here we start with the hips and lower back and shoulders. But I hope to move into quite a few back bending, heart opening postures. Let's take one more breath and go Mukasana. On your next in breath, slowly rise up. Release your arms and straighten your legs. And this time rotate your shoulders forward and up as you breathe in, back, and breathe out a couple more times. Deep, fresh breaths. All right, let's come on up to stand. Place your 2 blocks on both sides at the top of your mat. Separate your feet as wide as the width of your mat. Parallel your feet. And then with knees bent, bring your hands behind you to clasp or hold a strap between your hands. Roll your shoulder heads back and take a deep breath to look up. Lift your chest. Keeping your knees generously bent. Exhale to bow. Elongating your spine like a flat back. Let your head fall. Stretch your arms forward, away from your lower back. Keep a slight bend in your elbows to help your shoulder heads rise away from your neck. And then softly explore movement of your skull at your neck. Shaking your head no gently, nodding your head yes. Breathing in, breathing out equally through the nose. Switch the interlacing of your thumb and index finger and top. Notice if that might feel a little different. And then straighten your right leg a lot. Bend your left knee a lot. Lean towards your outer right calf and keep tilting your weight towards the balls of your feet. Let your head go. Shoulders up, arms forward. Deep breaths. Hello, hamstring. And then bend your right knee a lot. Straighten your left leg. Lean your torso towards the outside of your left calf. Tilt forward, drop your skull, loosen your neck. And as you come back to your center, release your arms. Heel toe your feet. Hips distance or just a little wider, parallel your feet. Press down with your fingers either on blocks, the floor, or your shins. Keep a little bend in your knees at least, and breathe in to elongate your spine forward. Pause there for a few breaths in Ardha Uttanasana. So while you're pausing, continue to lengthen the center of your chest forward like there's a string being pulled up towards your front wall. Feel how your weight shifts a little heavier towards the balls of your feet. Engage the front of your thighs. You're slightly lifting your kneecaps. Engage your belly so you're helping to elongate your lower back. And then lengthen all the sides of your neck as you press the shoulder blades down your back. Take another breath in. Exhale, bow a little deeper. Firming down to your feet, knees slightly bent. Inhale, circle your arms to rise all the way up. As you raise your arms, relax your shoulders, gaze up, palms touch. Urdhva Hastasana. And as you exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line. Release your arms by your sides, mountain pose. Let's slowly move into sun salutation A. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Get a little taller as you press down through the 4 corners of each foot. Exhale, bow from your hips. Feel free to bend your knees if you start to feel strain in the back. Press with your fingertips. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Carefully step into plank pose, whether knees on the ground or legs straight. Exhaling as you glide forward, bend your elbows close to your ribs, come all the way down. Toes, but keep your knees lifted off the ground, pelvis is on the floor. Inhale, coil your chest open, relax the shoulders down, cobra. Tuck your toes. Press up into downward facing dog, lifting your hips high. Spread your fingers flat. And let's take a few breaths. If you need a moment to shift around, feel free to take it. Might feel good to pedal your feet out. Swivel your hips left and right. Softly move your head around. Feel the open space across the tops of your shoulders that you create by rotating your triceps or outer upper arms towards the floor. Let your head go. Set your gaze on the ground towards your feet. Now let's hold still for 3 more breaths. Belly firm. Sitting bones lifting. Heels heavy. With your next inhale, keep your hips leveled and raise your right leg behind you. Rounding forward, exhale, bend your knee towards your nose, come forward to plank. And very lightly step with control your right foot just inside of your right hand, lower your back knee and untuck the toes. Now give your right foot the feeling as if you're dragging that heel towards the rear of your mat. Don't actually move it. Use that to ground yourself so you feel supported to rise with arms overhead. Hook your thumbs like an eagle puppet. And then draw your tailbone towards the ground in front of you as you lift your back ribs and coil your chest up. Keep lifting up from your outer hips to your armpits and fingertips while relaxing your shoulders down. Find a steady spot to gaze at for 3 more breaths here in this heart-opening Anjaneyasana. With an exhale, backstroke both hands to the floor, step into plank. Continue to lower into Chaturanga, either all the way down for Cobra or flip your toes halfway down and rise to upward facing duck. Exhale to downward facing duck. Take a deep breath. Now keeping your hips squared, inhale, raise your left leg behind you. As you exhale, round forward, bend the knee towards your nose, and very lightly step the left foot just inside of your left hand and lower your back knee and tuck the toes. Energetically drag your left heel back while keeping the foot still and rise up. Hook the other thumb on top into that eagle puppet and coil your chest up while lengthening your tailbone down and forward. Think of your right hip bone coming forward to level your 2 hips. As you lift your back ribs, find length in your lower spine rather than overarching. And then steady your gaze, relax your eyes and face. 3 more breaths. With an exhale, backstroke your hands to the floor at the top of your mat and step your right foot forward to fold. Uttanasana. Press with your fingers, rise halfway up. Exhale, fold again. Circle your arms, inhale, rise to the top, look up. Exhale, marry your palms at your heart. Again, a salutation A. Inhale, circle your arms high. Exhale, bow in. Inhale, lengthen your heart forward, step to plank, or lightly jump into Chaturanga Dandasana if that's appropriate for you. Coil your chest open as you breathe in, Cobra or Upward Dog. Exhale, Downward Facing Dog. Inhale again, raise the right leg, keep your hips squared. Exhale, softly land your right foot just outside of your right hand. Keep your right foot flat on the floor facing forward and either keep your left knee lifted or come down into a kneeling lunge. Remember, if you have blocks, you could also elevate your hands on blocks if that allows more accessibility. Stay here in lizard lunge for about 5 more breaths, hugging the right knee close to your right outer shoulder. Elongating your chest forward and coming down to the forearms. Gently scissoring your right outer hip towards the rear of your mat.
finishing this breath, step your right foot between your hands at the front, top of your, or center of your mat, and spin your left heel with the toes slightly facing forward. Align your right heel to the arch of your left foot. Cartwheel your arms to rise and land right into Warrior Two. Steadying your gaze just past your right hand, feeling your cycles of breath. Now here, feel that your right outer hip is slightly rotating beneath your body to help you align the center of your right knee with your center right toe down the center line of your mat. As you firm the top of your left thigh bone back towards the right wide width of your mat, notice your pelvis neutral and upright, affecting full length of your spine, with shoulders relaxed. Let's take 3 more breaths. Keep the bend of your right knee, flip your right palm to face up. Lift the right arm overhead to lean towards the rear of your mat and peaceful warrior deep inhale. Cartwheel your hands to plank as you exhale to lower, either into cat-cow or full-on vinyasa, your choice. You could always go straight to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, softly step it forward outside of your left hand. Keep the foot facing forward. You decide if you want to lower your back knee or keep it lifted. Perhaps using blocks beneath your hands. Hug your left knee close to your outer left shoulder and broaden your chest forward. We're here for about 5 breaths. If you're ready to explore depth in this hip opener, come down lower onto your forearms. Continue to scissor your left outer hip back. As you finish this cycle of breath, step your left foot between your hands at the front and center of your mat. Spin your right heel down with the toes slightly facing forward and align your left heel to the arch of your right foot. Cartwheel your arms to rise into Warrior Two. And again, steady your gaze, or in Sanskrit, it's called drishti, and it's an important part of building focus within each pose. Just like steadying your breath and steadying your body. Letting go of any sort of escapism through fidgeting or looking elsewhere. Being right here with what is. Left outer hip wrapped slightly underneath. Top of the right thigh bone firms back towards left edge of your mat. Pelvis and spine are upright. Shoulders are relaxed. Last 3 breaths. Flip your left palm to face up and lift it overhead towards the rear of your mat, inhaling into peaceful or exalted warrior. As you exhale, land your 2 hands on the ground and you decide if you need to flow, vinyasa or cat-cow, or go right into downward facing dog, or at any point in this practice, you may need to rest in child's pose. Listen to the quality of your breath. Bend your knees, prepare to land at the top of your mat on empty breath. Walk or softly jump. Then inhale, press with your fingertips to lengthen your spine forward. Exhale, fold in. Root down. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead to rise. Exhale, let your palms meet at your heart. Sun salutation B, bring your feet together to touch. Then bend your knees together to touch and sit your weight back towards your heels, raising your arms as your shoulders relax. Breathe in. Exhale, hinge forward to fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway up. Step or float into Chaturanga. Continue with your vinyasa. When you arrive in downward dog, we're going to slow it down from here. So inhale, raise your right leg, keep your hips leveled. Exhale, round forward to softly land your right foot just inside of your right hand so that your feet are still hips distance as you spin your left heel flat onto the ground. Your hips continue to face forward as you press through your feet and rise up, now into Warrior One. Now feel your left outer hip rotate slightly forward as you bend your right knee directly above your right heel while lifting your frontal hip bones and allowing your tailbone to descend. Heart lifted, shoulders relaxed. You might even choose to seal your palms together and gaze up past them. Let's take 3 more breaths. Adding humble warrior, backstroke your 2 hands to interlace behind your back. Bend your elbows close together and roll your shoulders behind you as you breathe in to lift your heart up. Keep your feet steady as you begin to fold forward, either resting on top of your right thigh or inside of your right leg. Scissoring your right outer hip back, feel the weight of your left heel as you drop your skull and relax your neck. Taking 3 more breaths. Reaching your arms forward. Let your shoulders rise and create space in your neck. Firm down through both feet and inhale, rise up. Align your right heel to intersect, again, the arch of your left foot like Warrior Two. But this time, straighten your legs, open your arms for triangle pose. Firm the front muscle of your thighs and slide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat while reaching your right hand forward horizontally as far as you can before tilting it down, either to land on your right leg or right of it, perhaps on a block, as you firm your arm and leg against each other. Like in Warrior Two, rotate your right outer hip beneath your body. But here, add directing your tailbone to lengthen towards your left heel. As you raise your left arm, lighten the weight of your right hand, spinning your chest slightly to face the sky. Belly firm, alive. Entering Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, you might place your left hand on your left hip. Bending your right knee, look down ahead of your right foot and crawl your right fingertips onto a block or the floor 6 inches forward of your right pinky toe and to the right outer corner. Drag your left foot forward and flex it, lifting the heel to the height of your hip. Continue to rotate your right outer hip beneath you and direct your tailbone towards your left heel as you flex your left foot. Opening your chest to face your left wall. Feel your shoulders and wrists stack. Perhaps you raise the left arm. Half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Notice anything that comes to surface, perhaps as the postures may get a little more challenging. Then bending your right knee, softly step your left foot towards the rear of your mat, arriving in Warrior Two again. Once there, take a breath or two, Then on an exhale, cartwheel your hands to the floor and into your chosen vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. In stillness, tune into your breathing. Then from here, inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Round forward and softly land the left foot inside of your left hand so that as your feet are hips width apart, you spin your right heel flat onto the ground. Keeping your hips facing forward, slowly rise into warrior one. Now completely straightening your right leg, turn your right outer hip to face forward while bending your left knee just over your left ankle. Lift your frontal hip bones and lengthen your tailbone down. Feel the length of your spine rise through your crown. With shoulders relaxing, perhaps seal your palms and gaze up. Let's take 3 more breaths. Backstroke both of your hands behind you, switching the interlacing of thumb and index finger on top. Breathe in, coil your chest up. Keep your feet heavy. You exhale to bow forward either on top or inside of your front leg while scissoring your left hip back to keep your hips squared. Humble or devotional warrior. Notice any shift in the way you're breathing as you transition, if any. As you let your head fall, let the shoulders rise away from your neck as your arms reach forward. For 2 more breaths. As you firm down through both feet, inhale, rise up and align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot like warrior two. Open your arms and straighten your legs for triangle. As you engage the front muscle of your thighs, slide your pelvis sideways towards the back edge of your mat, reaching your left hand forward horizontally as far as you can before lowering it onto your left leg, or just to the left of your leg, pressing arm and leg against each other. Rotating your left outer hip beneath your body, feel the turnout of your front leg, knee and middle toe tracing midline of your mat. Reach your tailbone actively towards your right heel as you spin your chest slightly to face the sky. With right arm reaching up, feel the left hand lighten in weight. Let's take a few more breaths in Utthita Trikonasana. So entering Ardha Chandrasana or half moon, you might like to place your right hand on your right hip. Gaze at the ground in front of your left foot and bend your left knee. Crawl your left fingertips onto your block or the floor 6 inches ahead of your left pinky toe and out to the left upper corner. Drag your right foot closer and flex the foot as you raise the heel the height of your hip. Bend your chest completely to face your right wall, stacking your right shoulder over your left wrist. Then you might explore raising your right arm. Can you feel the shape of triangle pose? Feel the expansion of each in-breath. A sense of grounding with each out-breath. Taking your time, when you're ready, bend your left knee and very slowly step your right foot back to warrior two. Landing for a breath or two. Cartwheel your hands to the floor, take a vinyasa or not. We'll meet in downward facing dog. in downward dog, see that your index fingers are pointing forward parallel to each other. Your thumbs are wide and flat. Wrists are shoulders width apart. Then rotate your triceps towards the floor. Lift the shoulder heads away from your neck. Belly in. Start to bend your elbows. Maybe they tap the ground. Maybe they only hover. Try to hug them in. See your arms, shoulders width. And then the elbows. Draw the shoulders back, hips up and back. Let's try that twice more. Sort of like, I don't know, you might call them elbow push-ups. Bend your elbows, maybe to touch the floor as your dolphin pose, belly in, hips back, and then the arms, shoulders up and back, head relaxed. One more at your own pace of breath. Making sure when you bend the elbows, they don't flare apart because you're rotating the triceps towards the floor. Then walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat with feet touching. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold, knees touching. Preparing for chair twist. Join your hands at your heart. Sink your weight back towards your heels. Breathe in and feel the length of your spine. Keep your knees in one line, hips still. Rotate your chest to the right little by little. Got about 5 breaths on the side, so if you want to use your left arm to press against your right thigh and add some leverage, you can. Think of drawing your left hip slightly towards the rear of your mat while spinning your chest towards the sky and sliding your 2 shoulders down your back. So as I mentioned, I think last class, besides feeling into what arises in sensation, emotion, or thoughts within a pose, more importantly, notice how you react to seeing that, how you respond, because that will bring light to our tendencies. Sink your hips a little lower. Inhale your arms up in chair. Then exhale, rise up to stand. Shift your weight onto your right foot. We're going to do a counter twist, standing in a balancing pose. So as you flex your left foot, bend your left knee in front of you and catch the outside of your left knee. Using your right hand, then with your left thumb, press the left outer hip crease down and level your 2 hips. Draw your navel in and up, stand tall and feel your weight pressing down through all 4 corners of your right foot. As you breathe out, begin to turn your chest to your left. As you breathe in, press the ground and stand a little taller. Feel the strong center line of your body. As you breathe out, keep twisting. Maybe you reach your left arm back. Maybe you catch hold of your outer left foot with your right hand and begin to straighten your left leg forward. About 3 more breaths in the spinal twist. Bending your left knee if it's straight. Look forward again. Catch your left knee with 2 hands. Breathe in and exhale. Set your left foot to touch the right. Mountain pose. With your feet touching, your knees touching, come back to chair pose, joining your hands at your heart. With each exhalation, incrementally twist to your left, just at your waistline. Keeping your hips leveled, keeping your knees in one line. You might like to add the leverage of right arm, pressing against left thigh. Does anything begin to tense up here as you might be venturing deeper into this posture? Let this act of noticing be that of open awareness, softening any unnecessary harshness to yourself even. Remember, cultivating that kindness to self, not judgment of self. Sink your hips a little lower. Inhale, arms up in chair. Then exhale, rise up to mountain. Shifting your weight onto your left foot. Flex your right foot. Catch the knee as you bend it in front of you. Press into the ground and stand tall. Then keep holding your right knee with your left hand. Use your right thumb to press your right outer hip crease down, keeping your hips leveled as you begin to twist to your right. Breathe in, press into the ground with your left foot. Lift up through the center line of your body. Breathe out, continue to twist at your waist. Maybe you reach your right arm back. Maybe you slide your left hand down to your outer right foot and begin to straighten the right leg forward. Last 3 breaths. Gazing forward, rebend your right knee, catch hold of it with 2 hands. Take a deep breath here. Then set your right foot next to your left. Inhale your arms overhead. Coil your chest up into a standing back bend. Bend your knees and exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise halfway. Step or jump to Chaturanga and come all the way to the ground. Lowering your right ear to the floor, slide your right arm straight out to the right, palm face down. And start to press the ground away with your left hand beside your left shoulder, rolling gently onto your right outer hip. Slide your right shoulder blade further down your back. As we stay about 5 more breaths here, opening up the right chest, front of the shoulder. Or sensation by leaning further back. Slowing your breath down as you softly whisper it through your nose. On your next exhale, gently unravel onto your belly, lying face down. Slowly switching sides, open your left arm wide. Turn your left ear to meet the ground and press your right hand beside your right shoulder. Rolling onto your left outer hip, soften your left shoulder blade further down your back. Take your time to notice any difference your body's informing you here. Anything you might need to attend to. As you breathe out, roll onto your belly. Scoot your knees close together as you can. Then bend your hand, catch hold of your outer feet for bow, Dhanurasana. Press your pubic bone onto the ground and begin to kick your legs towards straight while pulling your feet towards your glutes, lifting your knees high but no wider than hips distance apart. Coil your chest up and soften your shoulders down. Take at least 5 more deep breaths, fully expanding your chest, your lungs, even your belly. And you decide you're done here, just let the legs go. You might like to make a pillow out of your forearms to rest your forehead for about 3 breaths. Take a deep sigh or 2 out through your mouth. Cleansing breaths. And your hands alongside your floating ribs. Press up to stand on your knees for camel pose. Now you might like to grab a block here, especially if you have any sensitivity in your lower back to offer support. Taking the skinniest width, hug it in between your thighs. Tuck your toes behind you. And firm your thighs into the block. Spiral your inner thighs slightly. as if you're trying to shoot the back. Let your tailbone anchor heavily towards the ground between your knees, keeping your pelvis directly above your knees. The whole posture is important. Bring your hands to your lower back with your fingertips pointing down and encourage that lengthening of your tailbone down while you lift your back ribs away from it. Feel the belly firm in, and then bend your elbows close together. Take a deep breath, broaden and lift your chest. Keep lifting it as you roll your shoulder heads back and down, coming into camel pose. Stay at least 5 more deep breaths. And if it's possible, while keeping pelvis over knees, reach for one or both heels with your hands. When you decide you're ready to come out of camel or Ustrasana, replace your hands onto your lower back. Contract your abdomen to slowly roll your spine upright and find a comfortable seat for a few breaths to rest. Perhaps placing your 2 palms to stack at your heart center at the middle of your chest. So you could choose to attempt camel pose again on your own, maybe even flattening the tops of your feet instead of tucking the toes, which will create a deeper range if you want it. Otherwise, I'm going to invite you to come down onto your back and choose either bridge pose, take that block again and hug it in between your thighs, or upward facing bow, Urdhva Dhanurasana, which I'll practice and walk you through. But for those of you doing bridge, well, actually either one, bring your arms down by your sides first and locate your feet. You want to have your heels where you could almost touch them with your fingertips, but not that close. Then ground your shoulders, keep your arms here. If you're going into bridge, you'll lift your pelvis, walk the upper arms underneath, and maybe clasp your fingers, 5 to 10 breaths. Now for upward bow, bring your palms face down alongside your ears with your fingertips slightly turned out, keeping your elbows exactly shoulders width apart so your arms remain parallel. Then lift your pelvis up, activate your hamstrings by imagining as though you're dragging your heels towards your glutes with no movement. Lengthen the thighs forward, then bring the top of your head to the floor. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Press the ground away. Maybe you lift your head. As you hug the block, imagine you're trying to shoot it downward towards the floor while still engaging your hamstrings and lengthening your tailbone towards the ground. Full breaths. All these heart-opening back bends encourage full capacity of your lungs, and make use of them for that too. Sides, activating your heart energy center. After 5 to 10 breaths, reverse the stages you got into the pose. Just come down to rest on your back. If you're in camel, just have a seat to rest. Perhaps placing your hands in your heart or left hand to middle of chest, right hand to your lower belly. Take a few breaths and notice what's here in this time and space. Then please grab your strap again and let's meet lying down on your back. Once there, bend your right knee into your chest and straighten your left leg forward on the floor. Step the ball of your right foot into the loop or center of the strap, raising your right leg vertically. Hold the strap with your left hand and pull downward, not trying to bring your right leg closer to your torso, but more keeping it perpendicular to the floor while plugging the top of your right thigh bone down, deeper into your hip socket. Then take your right thumb, hook the outer crease of your right hip, and gently press it forward away from your armpit towards your left foot. Keep pulling the strap down simultaneously. Now add flexing your left foot, spiraling your inner left thigh slightly towards the ground as if you're going to pigeon toe your left foot. Just do that from the hip. So what we're doing is tractioning the lower back, calling space into the sacrum. Relax your two shoulders. Let's take 3 more deep breaths. Now, without actually moving your legs, give them the energies if you're scissoring them to intersect your midline. Sickling your right foot from the ankle, turn the sole to face your left wall. Open your right arm and keep the right shoulder flat on the ground as you slowly begin to twist, crossing your right leg over your torso to your left side while looking over your right shoulder. Now, as you venture deeper into this twist, you might add stretching your left quadricep if this is available. Bend your left knee, bring your left heel close to the left glute, and with your right hand, catch hold of the top of your left foot. Here's where a second strap might be useful if you have one. And continue to bring the left heel closer to your glutes while re-grounding your right shoulder, looking over it and twisting. Let's take 3 more breaths. Slowly unravel, left leg straight, roll onto your back, take the strap, and let's step the ball of your left foot into it. Slide your right leg forward, flat on the ground, raise your left leg just vertically, holding the strap with your right hand, pull downward. So you're just trying to plug the left thigh bone deeper into the hip socket, but not necessarily bring the left leg closer to your torso. Use your left thumb, hook your left outer hip crease forward, flex your right foot, spiral your inner right thigh slightly towards the floor, and energetically, but with no visible movement, scissor your legs to intersect your midline. Shoulders relaxed. 3 more breaths. Open your left arm wide, flatten the shoulder to the ground, and sickle your left foot from the ankle. Turn the sole to face your right wall. And as you look over your left shoulder, begin to cross your left leg slowly over to your right. And as you deepen your spinal twist, perhaps add a quadricep stretch for your right leg, bending your right knee, heel towards glute, and with your left hand catching hold of the top of your right foot, maybe using a strap here, and bringing the heel closer to your glute as you re-ground your left shoulder. Continue to twist, sending left outer hip forward, away from your torso. Let's take 3 more deep breaths. As you're ready, roll back to center, put the strap aside, and hug your bent knees into your chest. Perhaps rocking or circling your legs, if that feels good. And draw everything in towards your heart center. Maybe even lift your head and shoulders. Close your eyes. Take a full inhalation and hold your breath in for a few seconds. Squeezing in, maybe sipping in a little more air before you open your mouth and slowly let your breath go while releasing your arms and legs to rest completely into the support of the earth. Landing in stillness. Let go of controlling your breathing, arrive in Shavasana. Resting in Shavasana a minute longer at least. Should you choose to join us for our optional 5 minutes sitting in silence and meditation, within the next minute, gradually ease the body upright into a comfortable seat. So the practice of self-study continues. Meditation, now setting the timer for 5 minutes. to allow your awareness to come back to your breathing, your physical body. I invite you to join your palms to meet at your heart, bowing in to close. Venturing into our days, in what ways can we cultivate an honest, loving, truthful study of our own behaviors, our tendencies. And ways we connect and see what is. Let's close our practice with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.